Hi, I'm so glad you're here this week because last week I talked about are you in a personal shit show? And what I want to talk about today is yes, the answer is yes, and it's still going on. So the title of today's video is a shit show plus a holiday, right? Because it's Sunday, and by the time I talk to you next Sunday, we will have been through the Thanksgiving holiday. So let's put some of the perspectives of what's going on energetically so that you can understand what's going on with you, your body, your partner, spouse, your children, your culture, your society, your community, and sort of walk through it because there's still some really interesting things going on, right? So we talked about the planets of Mars, Uranus, and Saturn sort of all aligning with the sun and putting some pressure in this deep Scorpio from last week. Well, they're still in it. So I used the analogy of a dinner party last week, and now I want to say it's more like a peace conference or it's a powerful negotiation. Because what's happening now is they're sitting down around the table on the 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th. So we're right in the middle of all these negotiations. And in each planet is bringing in their agenda, which is, hey, we need to stir some things up and we need to do it fast and we need to do it. But what about this? And so you have Mars pushing, you have Uranus blowing things up, right? Or wanting to put the big stuff out there, not wanting to hold back. And you've got Saturn, which is, well, then how are we going to make it work? What's the structure really going to look like? And whoa, slow your horses down, right? Now, these big planets have been talking for days now, absolute days. And so what we want to do is we want to look at who else is helping them out. So what's helping is our two planets. One would be Neptune, has that calm sort of, oh, here we go. This is what we need to talk about. This is what really matters. Let's just calm the energy down. And we have Ceres, who is sort of like the way I've heard her described as the Mother Earth, the grounded. And this is where we're at right now. So this is what we can do. So the good news is we have some help. It just means that this is going on inside our energy system around us while we are also being pummeled on a daily basis with high C class and low M class solar flares on, 6 to 8 a day. So our energy systems are a little exhausted. So what I did was I pulled the 9 of Wands, which is the Osho deck, which is, there's all this stuff going around and we're just a little tired on the inside of it. And we're kind of going like, when is this going to stop? What are we going to do? How are we going to get through this? And so what I'm building towards is that on the 27th, which is a week from today, but, in the next wee hours of the following morning on the 27th, is the full moon in Gemini. And so on the 22nd, we shift into Sagittarius, which is a fire sign. So we're going into Thanksgiving under fire signs, which means passion, explosion, expansion. Like, let's make some things really big right now. And then we've got Gemini, which is the communicator in the full moon on the 27th, which is, I want to talk about this. I want to process this. I want to make sure we really get this and we're all in agreement and we all know how to move forward. So all of those dynamics are going through us and we're being stirred and we're asking really good questions and we're shifting and we're feeling some freedoms we haven't felt before as we're stepping towards maybe the things that we're awakening to, the things that we desire, like, oh, what if I did my job differently? What if we lived in a smaller, easier to afford budget so that we had more freedom to travel and we traveled more often, or we cut back on our hours, or we kept the kids out of school one day a week. And so all of these great ideas are starting to stir within us, right? And so what we're really looking at is this idea of, oh, well, yeah, there's all this going on and you can see that it's pretty dark and you can't really find the trail, but there's also this like, yeah, but there's something else down there that we want to go towards. And I love this card. This is the 2 of Wands, which is, possibilities. Like, well, what if we just did it? What if we tried? What if we tried something really different, right? So you have all of these stirrings, all of these awakenings, all of these things happening. And here in the States, we have Thanksgiving coming in on Thursday. Now, Thanksgiving is my personal favorite holiday. And it is because I'm a cook and I love to have a kitchen stirring, smelling, chopping herbs. I like to work with my hands. I love to bake. I love to roast. I mean, there isn't any part of Thanksgiving that I don't love because, all of my senses are enlivened and being put to use. And the good news is all three of my children were taught that that's how we do Thanksgiving. And so it's our personal favorite holiday because we gather together and we cook. And we cook really good food. Now, that said, it's a point of contention because number one, trying to get everybody together. And number two, dealing with other family members, my parents, my ex-husband's parents, anybody else who wanted to come who wasn't part of what we knew how to do, created tension. And so it makes sense to me that Thanksgiving is a traditional holiday that has religious, familial, social connotations, expectations. If you loved us, you would travel. If you were, we need you here because we need the family together. It's a testing ground for all of this energy that's swirling right now, which is, what do you really believe in, Sagittarius? What do you really value, Sagittarius? And how are you going to communicate all of this to the people you love and create a Thanksgiving holiday that doesn't create more financial stress, emotional stress, physical stress, mental stress, right? So when I say shit show plus a holiday, what we're talking about is how to make this holiday work for you because it's a testing ground, right? So this is where we explore and we study and we grow and we learn and we're figuring out what do I really want to do? What do we really need? Because there's this stimulus of the invisible solar flares and the astrological transits and our own internal expansion colliding, literally colliding, like the way that Saturn would hold on to things. Well, we've always done it this way and this works, so why change it? With a holiday that has memories of our childhood, when we're doing ancestral and childhood work, when we have intentions that we want to set and expectations. And keep in mind that once we go into Sagittarius, we're starting to move towards the fire and air, which is explosive. You can start a forest fire really fast when air and fire get going, right? So there's just so much that we can talk about here. Before I go into the tips, which is my favorite part of offering you what you can do about this, not just build the scenario, but what can you do? I want to say that I'm doing individual coaching and I'm doing tarot readings. And what I'm finding is that giving you information right now so that you can validate yourself, so that you can empower yourself, so that you have some tools for communication or ways to say things to your family or to your partner or to your children, right? How to understand the dynamics and the patterns that are at play. That clarity can be really valuable. So it seems like almost every year that my schedule just totally clears out during this week between this weekend, and the weekend of Thanksgiving. So if you would like to do an individual or session or a tarot reading, just message me. It's the easiest way to get a hold of me, or drop me a message also through my website at denisdryden.com. Okay, tips. Let's talk about these tips. So I have 6 for you. And I think the place I want to start is number 1, let's go to the 4 agreements. Do your very best. All you can do is show up and do your very best, right? All I can do is just show up and go, I'm going to do the very best I can. I'm going to be impeccable with my word. If I said I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. And if I can't do it, I'm going to say, I can't do that right now. I'm going to be impeccable with that. I'm not going to take anything personal because everyone else is in shit shows too. This isn't just you. Everybody's a little topsy-turvy and moving around. And to make no assumptions. Don't take a construct and start pushing it through into what you think it is because you may be off, you may be wrong. So, print off the 4 agreements, put them on your phone, do whatever you need to do, trust them, use them, lean on them, right? I think that's the very first thing I would say. Go into this holiday with the 4 agreements firmly at your reach. Number 2, set this week up, structure it the way that you need it to be, right? For you, for your family. Minimize the amount of time with family if there's tension points. Maximize it if it provides joy and comfort. We're looking at Sunday to Sunday. So either you're working or going to school for a few days, and then you're traveling, or you're hosting, or you're looking for people to get together with, or you're not sure about the dynamics. Just set it up so that it works for you. Make sure that there's rest, make sure that there's restorative things, because you want to explore how all of this feels. But the whole point of this week is, how am I going to feel, and what do I want to do about that, right? Number 3, create your own sphere. And what that can look like is, oh, here's the card. What that can look like is create your own space around you and stay in that sphere, right? This is who you are. Don't let everything from the external come in. Start from the inside and build that out. When you have this sphere, fill it with your own vibration, right? Hold this as your major tool throughout the week. Create the sphere around you and hold it with love and compassion and grace and peace and joy and laughter. And just go like, nothing they say or do is going to trigger me. And I'm just going to be a happy-go-easy kind of human at this event, or through this week, or on the drive, or while I'm trying to get to the grocery store in the lines, whatever it is, just fill it with love and compassion and grace and joy, right? Easier said than done. This is not an easy thing to do. However, I think it's vital. Number 4, let that shit go. Let it go. Let things fall off of you. Someone says, my mother used to always say, your hair, what are we going to do about your hair? And then one time I remember she even said, you can't come to the table until you do something with that hair. And I just said, wow, you think you can tell me what to do with my hair? And I'm like 50. This is hilarious, right? Let that fall off like Teflon. Just be kind, be your original self, be your childlike person. Find that sense of humor. And then the terms that I use, there is a video back, you can go back into my archives, called Fierce Gentleness, which is, I'm going to hold that boundary, which is, oh, that's cute. You think you know how to tell me what I'm going to do with my hair. And gentleness, which is, I love you, Mom. I'm still going to come eat dinner with you and look at these lovely locks, right? So there's a lightness in you. This is going to take profound courage, right? That's where you just go do exactly what you need to do for yourself, okay? And number 5, avoid self-medicating. Whether it's sugar, whether it's food, whether it's alcohol, whether it's TV, screens, porn, whatever it is that you do to get yourself so that you can get through this kind of stuff, have the internal wisdom to reduce it, to remove it, so that you can navigate more wisely. Because what you really need is, you need your senses about you, because you got to pull on those agreements, you got to keep that sphere open, and you got to keep flipping it to your child playful, like the self that you know yourself to be when you're at your best, right? And then number 6 is to have compassion, because all of us are in this together, right? We are collapsing the old and we're birthing the new. And I believe that this Thanksgiving and the winter holidays and the end of 2023 is where the old is going to firmly hit the new. And so have compassion for what happens when the old starts to crumble and fall away, and new beautiful things come out of it, and we birth it into the future. So if this is something you're interested in learning more about, you can always contact me. If not, I'll see you next week on the other side of this holiday. Take care.